Welcome back to my garage. Last time we started increasing boost, we saw 20 horsepower and we had some ignition trigger wheel trouble. It's fixed, I'll show you. First we need to replace my kill switch. Either the fuel or the oil in the fuel has eaten the plastic switch. So I'm replacing it with a all metal one, mostly metal one. Need to get this right. On is off and off is on. The ignition trigger wheel came loose. I've replaced the set screw and applied green Loctite, hoping that'll stay in place for now. The drive pulley wasn't super tight either. I had a really hard time, as I'll show you, getting that set screw out. I replaced it with a cap head screw now, much easier to deal with. I didn't bring the camera, it was just going to be a quick fix getting this set screw out of there. First my Allen key wouldn't bite anymore. I jammed this Torx driver in there, no luck. Cut a slit in the top, tried using a flat blade screwdriver, but it just mangled up the screw. And all of this was after getting that screw really hot. I tried using this surgical tong, tried using normal tongs. You can see this one has some damage once more, and finally it worked. If there's any way to avoid using set screws without the head and with their corresponding small Allen key, avoid using set screws. Use cap head screws or something else. There was something going on last time. We suddenly gained lots of horsepower without really changing much. We got better exhaust extraction. It could just be the fresh air. The rotary valve driver was kind of loose. It might be rotary valve timing. Most probable cause though is the slipping ignition trigger wheel. As it ended up far too retarded, it might be that on the way there we gained some power before it got too retarded. I've got the ignition unit hooked up to the computer and timing is set to 25 degrees flat line. That's probably not actually 25 degrees though. I'm pretty sure that the base advance isn't accurate. We need to put a light on it, but it doesn't matter. Absolute numbers doesn't matter now. This is our baseline. We'll do 3-4 runs and we'll try lower timing and see what happens. Well, that's anticlimactic. The belt snapped. I've ordered more of these, just haven't arrived yet. We would have been in trouble even if the belt hadn't snapped, because the exact same thing happened once again. Notice this had come loose, tried unscrewing it, applying heat, snapped the bolt. Attempts. I'm not gonna rely on a flat on the shaft anymore. I'm gonna drill through. I'll drill through the pulley and into the trigger wheel and thread those two together also. Belts should be here over the weekend. I managed to order them from a local company. We're waiting for those belts to arrive later today. And I started thinking about the gearbox for this engine. It seems to have quite a nice power spread, wide power band. I think a normal gearbox is perfect versus a variator, which I typically run on the really peaky two-strokes I build. There's an AM6 engine in here, and I wonder if I can just cut that engine into pieces and use the gearbox. If that turns out too impractical, I can machine new cases and use the internals from this one. There's also upgrade performance parts available for this gearbox. I haven't got a puller that fits this flywheel, but I'm going to cut this engine up anyway, so. Here we go. Now I'm gonna stare at this long and hard and contemplate if it's worth cutting this up and trying to use it as a standalone gearbox. The main issue is that all these bearings are meant to have oil on both sides. There's no seals here. That's a problem when this is meant to be driven from an external source. So this is not sealed anymore, or will not be sealed anymore. Wouldn't be that hard to machine new cases, substantially smaller than these ones. Would only need to be a size that can hold what's in here. I would need some fairly thick material though, unless I make it in three parts, like a middle and 2 halves. That's a possibility. Might actually be better to just go with a custom box compared to trying to cut this up and make it work. Like I said, I'll have to sit and stare at it and contemplate. Finally, the belts have arrived. There's more on the way too. Ready for tomorrow morning. Lots of people on Instagram have advised me against using the AM6 gearbox. Apparently the gears have a tendency to shed teeth and the shifter forks are bent from factory and it has a lot of false neutrals. Not the best option. Someone suggested a Kawasaki cassette gearbox. I know at least the TZ250 has those and probably many more. They seem to be readily available. One of those all-in-one contained unit cassette style gearboxes would make things much easier if I want to machine custom cases for it. It needs to be small though. I'm tempted to just order one off eBay. They're not that expensive and see how it'll work. And yes, it's meant to be used for this engine in the Landspeed bike. The water is heating up, preheating the engine. Let's try again. Plan now is to test various timing settings and see where there's most power. See what was going on last time. Then continue increasing boost. Readings aren't super consistent and I'm still playing around with how to shut down the brake before the engine stalls. Set to turn off at 8,000 RPM now, but there's some built-in inertia there or something that makes the engine stall most of the time. Anyways, it seems like more timing is better. Started at 25, had roughly 17.5 horsepower. Went down to 20 and we're down to 13.5 around there. Went up to 30 and we saw about 19.5. Then I went up to 35. If you look at the graph here, it might actually be an actual around 30 horsepower graph at around 9,500 RPM. That's a lot of torque at like 24 Newton. I'm not saying we're seeing 30 horsepower yet, I'm just saying it looks promising. The graph is incomplete and I couldn't do more of them though, cause we had a backfire terminating that run. Luckily the dump valve did its job and dumped the excessive pressure. This pipe flew off. I have a suspicion that backfire was caused by the reeds breaking. They're fiber reeds, and now that we're starting to get more temperature in there, they might have gone to hell. Let's have a look. We've got a blown reed. They're really fucked up. They're bent. We'll need some stronger reed material. I did see that coming. One pedal on the lower reed valve has sheared straight off and one pedal is bent. On this side one pedal is missing and one is severely deformed. The cage is broken. And this worries me a bit because that's aluminium inside the rubber there. The same thing has happened here. I did see a little bit of a dent in the rotary valve. I was wondering where that came from. I think we have our answer here. Might be a good idea to have a look at the piston top now and head. Maybe we'll have to machine another one. We'll need to source some stronger reed valves, probably steel pedals, and something without that weak bridge. I could machine something stronger too. I did say our plan was to test to destruction then repeat, didn't I? Well, here we go. Now, did this happen because we had higher cylinder pressure at the right, correct time? Or did it happen because we had higher pressure too early? You've seen the footage, I haven't yet. I'll have to study it and see what I can decipher from it. I'm in the middle of editing and I've watched the footage and it does seem like the reeds break under full power there. Like it's possible we're seeing 30 horsepower now and the reeds can't take it. It's possible, even plausible, I think. Will be a couple of days now. Oh, that's cold. Will be a couple of days now until we can do further testing. I need to sort the reed situation. See you next time.